Welcome, everyone, to Talking with Tom and Jim. That is Tom Goldrup and Jim Goldrup. They're film historians. They traveled the world. I'm going to utter off all these crazy facts because Dylan is here to my side. Is going to ask you a question, and I have no idea what that question is. So I'm going to preface it with every single qualification that you have. So they're film historians. They traveled the world. They're writers. They've written 4 books on the golden age of Hollywood. They almost took a rocket ship to the moon, but their brother's rocket ship didn't work. And they are related to the Clampetts. If there's anything I've left out, please let me know. And Dylan Gregory is to my side. He is a television industry guy, and he's our guest host tonight. He has a question for Tom and Jim, and we'll leave it at that.
Great. I have 2 questions. The first one's the most important one. How do you take your tea?
How do we take our tea?
Yeah.
Tea? With sugar and cream.
Oh, you drink tea? Oh,
No,
okay.
I don't really.
We don't really drink that much tea.
I drink lemon tea in Nepal. Sometimes someone gives me some sleepy time tea, but I don't.
We don't really drink tea.
The hot drink I drink is hot chocolate.
Yeah, that's our favorite.
How you take your tea is with
So that's
chocolate.
how I take my tea.
Yeah, I drink it's chocolate milk, almond chocolate. Yeah. Oh yeah.
The real question I had is you had mentioned when we were talking off the screen earlier about coming to Knoxville for the different Western conventions. Tell us a couple stories about that. What do you remember about coming out here? How were those conventions? Anything stick out? Anything make it to the books?
Okay.
We came out to sell our books.
Yeah, we came out to sell our books. We went to conventions in Knoxville, Memphis, and Charlotte. So they all become a haze in our mind. What happened to either one?
And a number of the actors that were there were people we.
Yeah, actors, celebrities would come out. Anyway, we'd buy a table, rent a table, and sell our books or sell other movie memorabilia, but mostly our books. And
They would show old movies.
oh yeah, they showed movies all day and all night long practically.
And they had guest panels.
And they had guest panels where the 4 or 5 of they'd have like 20 actors from Hollywood there, actresses, and they'd have like 4 or 5 on the panel, and people could sit in the audience and ask questions. And every once in a while, one of the actors would ask us to ask a particular question, and they act surprised that we would ask the question.
Really? No, give us an example of that. That's amazing.
Gregory Walcott. I think this happened in Memphis though, but
No,
Gregory
that's
Walcott had a long career, and a film that almost destroyed his career for about a year was Plan 9 from Outer Space. But he came up to me and asked me the question, what it was like to kiss Claude Colbert. And that's not the kind of questions I ask, but he was sitting up on the panel. So as people were asking questions, I've already raised my hand. They call on me, and I said, "Oh, Gregory Walcott, what was it like to kiss Claude Colbert?"
It took him by surprise.
It took him by surprise. I didn't expect a question like, it was fun. But
And what do you say?
I don't remember.
You don't remember.
Punchline is gone. He did a movie called Texas Lady with Claude Colbert, and it was with that one. But I don't remember what his answer was. I just remember the question and how he reacted to being asked the question. And then one time, everybody on the panel sat up there and recommended our books because we had interviewed all of them. It was Morgan Woodward and Royal Dano again. And one of the actresses, Peggy Moran or somebody. But anyway, they all recommended our book. And after the panel was over, people came by and we sold out. And then we had nothing to sell the rest of the show. But it was.
And then one of the shows, our brother Ray was a guest.
Yeah, our brother Ray was a guest at one of the shows as a writer, as a screenwriter. He sat right there next to Anne Francis. In Knoxville, while we were outside of Knoxville, this is completely a different thing, but our ancestors come out of Greene County, Tennessee. So we'd drive up into the hills in Greene County, Tennessee, and go see the places along the rivers where our ancestors had their land and stuff back in the late 1700s, early 1800s. beautiful. I love Eastern Tennessee. But those shows were great, but
Yeah.
they still have some of those shows going on a couple of places, but they no longer have the old actors. They have the
Yeah.
sons of the actors or the daughters of the actors or something like that. So
it's not the same.
it's not the same. So I've been to once for a long time. Plus we have no more books to sell. I mean, we're out of our own self-published books, and then the ones that the publishers, when they republished them, the publisher did it, and then they go to some of those shows and sell them. But I haven't been to one for a long time. But they were fun. They were kind of like, well, it's different than the Comic-Con, but you had a whole big room full of people selling movie memorabilia.
Yeah.
And then the actors would sit at their tables and sign autographs for people and such as that. In the early days, the actors signed them for free, but then later as it went along, it got more commercial and they charged $25 a hit, and stuff like that. Hugh O'Brian was at one. He played Wyatt Earp on the old TV series, and I helped him set up his table, and we were talking for a while, and I mentioned to him, I said, whoever thought a Clanton would be helping an Earp? But
That's awesome.
Clanton and them are our great-great-grandfather's first cousins. So they were fun. They were a lot of fun. And I had an old Durango Kid comic book when I was a little kid, and it got lost over the years. And I found the exact same one there. It cost $10 instead of 10 cents, but I got this exact same one that I had when I was a little kid, and it was fun looking at again.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
They were a lot of fun.
You lost it, right?
It got lost during the when we had a big bed bug attack at our house. We had to get everything out of our house, and we got rid of a lot of stuff. And one of my boxes, Jeff, one of my boxes that had stuff I wanted to keep disappeared. It must have got mixed up with the trash. And in that box, besides that Durango Kid comic book and some photographs and some DVDs, every single those program books that we had from It's a Wonderful Life, and with all the autographs from the cast members and things, gone.
Now, I the way you said that, I thought I was suddenly going to be blamed for this. And yeah, Jeff, you snuck into our house and stole my childhood comic book and all the photos.
You didn't sneak bed bugs into our house sometime you came and visited us, did you?
No, I don't think so. Yeah, I hope not.
I don't blame you. Jeff, all those Rooney. Those Rooney.
But the way he said it,
I know the way.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
I wanted to get his attention, and I was going to tell him what got lost, because those are real special to me. And everything that the people wrote in them, and it's gone with the wind.
Wow. The shows, I don't know about if it was Tennessee or not, but you have a funny story about Denver Pyle from the shows, correct? You may have told it on one of these, but
Why don't you tell that one?
Up in Sonora?
Yeah, the one in Sonora.
We hadn't seen him since we interviewed him. And so he was at the show in Sonora, and they were having a dinner. And we went up to him at the table where he was at. It was Denver Pyle, and he kind of looked around. He didn't recognize us. And
he said, sorry to bother you.
Yeah, he said, sorry to bother you. And he said, well, why are you then? He said, well, here's a copy of the book that you're in. And then thanks. He's looking at it, and the next day he came and sat at our table. He can autograph
the book for people
to help sales.
Yeah.
Oh,
real
wow,
nice
that's
neat. Real nice guy, but he
then,
didn't want to be.
One day, all of a sudden, our phone rang here. We answered the phone, and Denver Pyle, he was up in Oakland doing a TV show, and thought he'd give us a call.
Yeah, and then when he was a regular in the Grizzly Adams TV series, and Ray wrote one of those episodes. Our brother Ray wrote, and he went up to the set and brought his little kids, and both Denver Pyle and the guy Dan Haggerty that played Grizzly Adams, they sat Ray's kids were little at the time, sat him on their laps and got photographs and stuff.
Aww.
Nice guy.
Denver was a real nice guy. He turned us on to some other people that we were looking for and told us how to get a hold of them. But he just didn't recognize us and didn't want to be bothered at dinner time.
Well, yeah.
I mean,
he said he was really happy when he got the part of Uncle Jesse and Dukes of Hazzard, because it became kind of a grandfather type that little kids can like. When he played the police officer who leads the raid on Bonnie and Clyde in the movie Bonnie and Clyde at the end, he'd be walking down the street and people would throw soda pop cans at him.
Yeah.
Oh,
Wow.
He's an actor playing a part.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And he wrote a forward. He wrote a forward for your book too, right?
Yeah, yes, he did.
Very
Yeah,
supportive. Yeah.
really neat forward, yeah.
Yeah.
Real super good guy.
Yeah.
Walter Reed told us a story about Denver Pyle. One time they went down to Mexico, to Tijuana, and they both did some drinking. And Denver was out there with a coat doing like the bullfights with taxi cars as they go by. And Walter said, let's get in the cars, let's get out of here before we end up in jail.